Hello. Welcome to the Ramsey Smith Isn't Funny podcast. This is we got a guest. It's my wife. I think last time you were a guest, we only had one microphone. Is that correct? See, you can't shake your head in a podcast. You have to.
Got hiccups.
She has. All right. Well, this is the bottom of the barrel, folks. I know what you're thinking. You don't want this guest. I don't want this guest either.
He's got no other friends.
I wanted all the guests to be in the entertainment industry.
I am in entertainment.
Well, comedian. Well, not. Say something?
Hello? I'm too quiet of a speaker.
I understand.
I'm so demure.
That's okay. Now, this is, we're here. I'm doing them weekly for real. Right? And this is what you get. All right? You get a podcast with my wife. Yeah, she's fine. Don't you think? All right, she's posing for the camera. This is an audio format. Why do we get more views on the YouTube? I didn't realize people were out here watching podcasts. You could just listen. Like,
because they want to look at your handsome face.
The fact that anyone's like, I want to look at fucking, I have to make sure I can watch Joe Rogan's red head for the whole 2 hours and 40 minutes. Oh, if I can't see his big red head, I'm going to be pissed. That's crazy. That's a crazy guy to be. Oh man, but let me tell you, it's been good. We
went to Denmark.
We went to Denmark. That was fine. Denmark's nice. It's sunny. It's like warm. I assumed it would be a frozen wasteland, but apparently not. I also didn't realize it was connected to the main. I knew nothing about Denmark going there. I only just realized it was connected to Germany, which is historically not a good thing to be connected to Germany. They don't always do too well, or Prussia as they used to call it. I'm gonna go back to Prussians. That was fun, But anyway, man, how are you doing?
Good.
That's good. You're dressed in purple.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Call me Grimace one more time, and you might die.
I've been saying she's looked like Grimace is probably the sexiest of the McDonald's characters.
I've been called Grimace quite a bit.
I think
past 24 hours.
Because would you rather fuck Grimace or the Hamburglar?
Hamburglar.
Because I feel like
Grimace is a monster.
Why do you're very quiet?
Because I'm shy.
And speak loud, please.
I am shy.
Okay, there we go. Grimace is a monster?
Yeah.
Okay, now into the microphone as well. So we're going to do loud talking.
I said that.
No, as the microphone was raising, you said yeah. And then it got to your mouth, you didn't do anything.
It's still spiked. You can hear me.
No, that was your hiccups.
No, I'm not hiccuping anymore.
Oh, man, this is terrible. Okay, so Grimace... Because I feel like Grimace would feel good to fuck. Because I feel like he's all
I don't know what you want me to talk about here.
He's all just
you're like, speak up.
I understand
Could
that.
jump in.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to talk about Grimace for? Have I ever talked about fucking Grimace?
No, but I'm saying we all have thoughts. We all have opinions.
I got none about that.
Because the Hamburglar, number one, he's a criminal. Criminal. I didn't say that correctly. Fucking retard. He's a criminal, right? Which probably means, he's used to having sex the unconsensual way.
I don't know if this is my branding. I don't think I should be here.
Because he's wearing like a prison outfit, right? So he's not the one doing the bad stuff. He's getting it, right, in prison, right? So I'm saying he might have intimacy issues. Right? Because he's, regularly being, we'll say, sodomized in prison for stealing too many hamburgers. Because you know how they have the chart of, like, the hierarchy of rape in prison?
No.
You haven't?
Why would I know about that?
Well, the idea is, and I think this is it depends on where you go to prison. I've heard it's a lot nicer now. But
in Denmark, it's nice.
In Denmark, in Australia, it's pretty nice.
You know from first-hand experience.
I know people. You get a whole comedy career out of it. It's good. But
one person.
Because of one. Well, he's the only person in Australian comedy that's had something happen to him. Everyone else is just a fucking boring artsy cunt. And I mean that as successful people. So all of you losers back at home, don't get your panties in a twist. I'm talking about the successful comics. But no, I think, because you know the hierarchy of rape, the idea is that there's like different, people are raping, and it's like, what are you in for? Is what's going to get you. Like if you're a pedophile,
I have an album coming out.
Promote.
People are gonna search this up and be like, Emily, and then this is gonna pop up, and then I don't think this is very good for me.
No, not at all.
Just you talking about rape while I stare at the camera.
Well, that's all right. So basically,
I don't think we're supposed to say rape
who
on YouTube.
This. Well, I don't care.
Okay.
That's all right, because this isn't for the algorithm. This is for people to share with one another.
About rape.
This is for someone to be like, hey, here's this really fun podcast. It's been after 5 minutes, it's also fine.
This
you know?
is the first podcast I've ever been on, and people will know that. That will go down in history.
Because not only
when I get famous, can we delete these episodes?
the censors, right? They only check the first 5 minutes, right? After 5 minutes, not only could you say...
We're not even 2 minutes in.
It's 6 minutes. Look. So, like, the censors, not only could you say rape after 5 minutes, you could actually commit one. And YouTube would just leave it up there. Because no one's watching.
That's
you know
not
what I mean?
what this is.
It's true. It's not. No, not at all. What I'm trying to say is in prison, like, okay, so if you're like a pedophile, like they rape them, right? Or like if you're, if you don't have enough cred, right? So a lot of people don't know this, but stealing hamburgers is actually below child molester in the prison hierarchy. It's true. Hierarchy. It's true. A lot of people don't know this. So that hamburger, so I feel like making love to him, it would be, confusing and scary for both of us. And I'm not interested in doing that. Right?
But wouldn't you want to fuck the ham? Like, would you want to receive it or want to do it?
I'd want to fuck him.
So he'd be used to that.
No. But like, just because but that doesn't mean he's gonna give me the connection that I need in return to really make a to make a love. You know what I mean? To create that energy between us. Because he would be used to it in a not even a love, like in a sexual way, but in a transaction of power type of way. Because that's how it rolls in in prison.
I can't express how much disinterest I have in this topic.
So what I'm saying is, Grimace, I think Grimace would be down for anything, right? And also, I feel like you could fuck Grimace in any part of him, right? Like, I don't think Grimace even has a hole. I think, like, you just start fucking part of the side, and it would be soft and, like, nice enough that you could just fuck anywhere on Grimace, which I think would be quite nice. It'd be like jumping into the skin of a vagina. So I would definitely fuck...
Ramsey once told me, we don't have anything to talk about. You don't want to talk about the things that I talk about. And this is what you have to talk about.
This is what I want to talk about, yeah.
Who is enjoying this conversation?
Shiro's listening.
Okay, besides Shiro and Mickey, who's
I have
enjoying
listeners
this conversation?
from all around the globe,
This
okay?
is distasteful.
No.
This is disgusting. Do you listen to podcasts that speak about these things?
Of course. What do you
Grimace?
think? Yeah, absolutely.
And like in detail?
Yes.
About how he feels?
Yes.
Who is doing that?
Oh, man. Hey, look, a little outfit that, hey, look, I don't, Come Down, but they're done. They're dead. They had their last episode.
So you're replacing Come Down?
Well, I wish, you know what I mean? If I could, oh boy, that'd be pretty crazy.
You know that other podcast that we were on before we left Australia?
The Sausage Boys.
Is that still going?
I don't know. I generally don't
I
know.
don't know if this is the place to talk about tea, but
Karim is in China,
oh,
and I don't know if they're going to let him out.
what?
I assume Karim's committing some sort of sex crimes in China.
Wait, is he going to China just to holiday,
Well, holiday is what he calls it, but
or is he living there?
no, he's going on a
He
holiday
plans on coming back.
for like 3 months, so
Oh,
yeah.
oh wait, is that why they did the big 24?
That's
podcast?
why they did the big with
Okay,
the
but
idea
that was 2 months ago, my friend.
with the idea that they were going to chop them up and then release them in our segments, and then they didn't do that.
He's got 6 hours, but
What?
yeah, well, I mean, no, he had 12 hours.
Yeah, but they never chopped it up.
Oh.
So it could be the end of the podcast.
So there's none released.
Hey,
since?
there hasn't been any, and boy, oh boy, is that sad. A lot of people, that's going to create
I
a
listened to this.
that's going to create a vacuum of podcasting, and they'll all come here. So Grimace. So what are the other McDonald's characters, and would you fuck them? And what would fucking them feel like? Feel like Ronald McDonald? I don't want to have sex with him. He's just he's Mr. McDonald, right? He'd be fucking. He'd be fucking you like he'd be having sex with you, and he'd be acting like it's your job to make him come, right? Because he's Ronald, fucking, and you know how gingers are.
Might be
right?
mean to Ronald. He just wanted to have fun with some kids.
No, I think so. Ronald's out. I don't want to have sex with Ronald. Call me a hater, but I don't want to fuck Ronald. Is there a duck?
Man, I don't know.
Did you ever go to McDonald's as a kid?
Yeah, but the characters is not one thing I looked
Didn't you work at McDonald's?
at. Yeah, but
So surely the characters are in the handbook.
no.
What if a little girl comes to the drive-thru and she says, "Hey, what's it like fucking Grimace?" And you don't have an answer? Do you know how pissed I would be at McDonald's? If I go to McDonald's and the 16-year-old working there
Doesn't give
cannot-
a fuck about the
can't
characters.
give my 8-year-old an answer on whether or not Grimace has a pussy. Do you understand how mad I would be?
Is Grimace a man or a woman?
Well, I think he's. I've been calling him because I
So
feel like he's got
he
a.
wouldn't have
I
a
think he has
pussy.
a deep voice.
So he wouldn't have a pussy.
Well, you can have a deep voice and have a pussy. Look at Brittany Griner.
Is this going to be a thing you get cancelled for?
What?
Saying that?
No, she's a WNBA player. She looks a lot like a more masculine Pete Davidson.
I can't imagine that.
There was a video on Instagram of her at like a pool party,
Yeah.
and she had like her top off, and it just didn't get censored because she just looks that. You know what I mean? Like it's so non a thing.
You're looking at women without tops.
You could have a look at Brittany Griner without a top on and tell me if you want to be jealous at that, because that is crazy.
Was
But
there
yeah.
something else? Can we get off the Grimace topic?
I'm just more. We need to fill. There's a quota, okay? We have a quota. Which McDonald's character? So there's Grimace. There's of course Mick Grimace.
This is just like your own podcast, and I'm just here.
Have you heard about the
Okay.
Mick Grimace controversy?
Could be good.
Mick Grimace, something like that. Mick Grimace has got an Irish cousin who's like green, and at a St. Patrick's Day parade in New York, the Irish Grimace came out and was like, "I support the IRA, fucking kill the English, kill Margaret Thatcher," and that was a whole big thing. And I don't think I want to fuck the Irish Grimace, not because I support, but it's just because I feel like you can't fuck someone who supports a terrorist organization, even though maybe this is a good terrorist this is the good one.
Let's talk about our bus trip to Denmark.
Stop. So the Irish.
Bored of this conversation.
That's absolutely fine. So
no one's gonna make it to this point.
I Yeah, okay, we can talk about the bus trip. So we
That's
went.
interesting.
Well, we'll see. Then we'll put a pin in this, and we'll come back to
Yeah,
it.
we'll come back to it.
So,
Very
the
good.
Hamburglar.
What?
Hamburglar,
No, we're
Ronald
going to-
McDonald. We got to be able to name some more McDonald's characters.
No, we're going to bus.
I feel like there was a girl with like piggy tails, and she was a duck. But I hear ducks have got corkscrew-shaped like vaginas, like inwardly, because the male duck has got a corkscrew-shaped penis. And apparently ducks, we're talking about rape. Apparently they're a big fan, is what I've heard. Anyway, so we're going to Denmark. We've got a 6:10 a.m.
How did you go
flight.
from ducks,
We've got 'cause
corkscrew
ducks,
penises?
ducks fly.
to
We
bus?
flew to Denmark.
Oh, right.
So it was a 6:10 a.m. flight. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So it's like 45 minutes from. Here's the. Also, Stansted Airport in London can suck my fucking dick, because there's no tube station there. You have to actually get a ticket to like a rail, like the national rail, or you got to get a bus or some shit. And also, we had to go late at night or early in the morning, I guess, because we've got a 6:10 flight. They say you get there 3 hours early for an international flight. We probably got there 2 hours early. But even then, we got to wake up at like 2 a.m. to make sure we get the right bus, so we don't miss the next bus, so we don't miss the flight.
And also, buses here come late. So
Also,
we
buses
need
come
to
late, and
counter.
then maybe, you
we need
got
to
to
make sure that we
get there super early when you could have cut down time because you're working preventative for the future,
Yeah.
So we wake up at 2 a.m., no sleep. I'm fucking,
I've had a terrible sleep schedule, so I've just had 1.5, probably.
Yeah, that was very good. Good thing to point out. Very interesting.
Compared to all the characters that you would fuck or not.
You couldn't give me any
I'm
McDonald's.
gonna get divorced on this podcast.
Okay,
So
guys,
liven it up.
message in. Which McDonald's character would you fuck? We're gonna clip. Don't look. It'll fucks up the lighting for the. This is gonna get clipped as
Just
well.
thought it'd be interesting.
This is gonna get clipped. Okay, we're gonna clip this. We're gonna say which McDonald's character would you want to have sex with the most. We're gonna have a poll. The winner, whichever McDonald's character wins, we might do some role play later. Me and you. What do you say? You guys don't get to be part of that.
No, we're not.
Maybe I'll set up a Patreon.
No.
So we're going to the airport. We're up at 2 a.m. We have to get a bus that's right outside our place at 2:40. Right? So, you want
2:30.
2:40.
2:30.
2:40.
2:30.
It was 40.
Okay, well, it didn't matter.
Well, that doesn't matter for the story, does it? 2:30, which means ideally we want to kind of be ready to leave the house at 2:20 if it's 2:30, so we can be there at the bus stop. You forget something, you do whatever. It's all good, right? So we wake up there, we're there. We get on the bus. We're about halfway to the next train station where we then have to get off, and I've got a bus, like a coach, booked to take us to the airport. And then this lady comes in to the bus.
And this is a coach that goes from London to the airport only.
That's what we're trying to catch.
No, that's like the only place they stop at. Like, they go to the airport.
That's what I'm saying.
They're taking people to their flights.
They're only taking people to the airport.
Important thing to note.
We are on... So we're on like a regular bus that you just tap on, tap off, so that we can get to the train station to go there. Then while we're on the bus to get to the train station, some lady comes on and she looks a bit cracked, like
she doesn't look a bit cracked.
she's not like on meth, but
No,
she
doesn't
has
look a
smoked
bit
it.
cracked at all.
She looks like she has smoked
She
meth.
just looked anorexic, but besides that,
That comes from the meth.
But she didn't look like she.
You gotta
was on
fucking
crack.
do a consistent volume for your speaking.
What?
You got to do a consistent
It's fucking
vocal.
hard to get in a word.
Well, then talk loud every time. See, look at the
I
disparity.
think it's how I'm holding it.
Well, then hold it. Keep it on your chin. Because if this is, you know,
I did this, and that didn't pick it up. But when I do that, it picks it up.
okay, well then do the thing that picks it up. You do music. You talk into mics all the time. Okay, and I thought you'd be better.
Anyway, she didn't look like she was on crack.
Mickey had better mic technique than you.
You put it on the low setting.
Well, because then you got very loud and started peeking out. Which one do you want to be loud or do you want to be quiet?
The mic will pick up anyway. Even the little ones.
Yeah, I know, but that's barely. It was picking up almost nothing before.
Okay, anyway, she did not look like she was on crack.
She looked, dodgy, but not too dodgy.
She didn't look dodgy at all.
She did look dodgy. Okay? If I saw her in the street, I wouldn't give a fuck because it's a lady and I could fucking oosa if she tried to attack me. But you know what I mean. You've seen a lady get onto the bus at 2 a.m. You know what this lady looked like. She wasn't scary. She tries to get on the bus without paying. And, bro, this fucking bus driver is immediately on the attack. Right? Immediately on the, what are you doing? She's like, where do you live?
And she didn't make a big deal. She was quiet as a mouse during this whole thing and very polite.
She was pretty quiet. I think she just said, hey, can I, she goes on. She's like, I need to get
to South London.
She needs to get to South London. We're in North London. So we need to get to South London. I need to go. There's a women's shelter there.
Well, he goes, where are you staying?
He goes, where are you staying?
She didn't say where she was going. She was just said, I'm going to South London.
Yeah.
She didn't say, like, I'm going to a women's refuge or whatever. But he kept going, where are you going? Where are you going? And it's like, that's none of your business, my guy. Either let her on or kick her off. Like, there's two options.
Yeah, I know. And he's like, what are you doing?
And he never kicked her off.
He goes, why are you up here? What are you doing over here? Do you have drugs on you? Then she shows the bag.
He went, do you have drugs on you? And she has this tiny little purse with her phone in it. And he goes, if you can afford a phone, how can you not afford the bus ticket?
She goes, you got a phone, you can't have a bus. Which, to be fair, you can tap on, tap off contactlessly at all TfL stations.
What?
And buses. So if you have a card on your phone, you could tap on.
Oh, yeah.
So look, I get it, but also it's literally
2:30 in the morning. It cost £1.70.
It's super early, so then they start arguing. He starts to be like, "Well, why you got to go there? Why?"
Yeah, and she
then
goes,
she's like,
"I'm going to a woman's refuge," and he goes, "Why are you going there?" And she goes, "I don't want to say my business on the bus why I'm going to a women's refuge." And he keeps yelling over her, and then she was like, "It's a women's refuge for women who get abused by their men."
Yeah.
And she just says it, and she's just she doesn't want to say her business on the whole bus, but he never tells her get off. He's just arguing about where she's going, whether she's got drugs, whether she's on drugs, or whatever. He's just yelling over her. And he doesn't say get off at any point in this conversation.
Yeah, I was actually asking him to leave the bus. So they're yelling.
He's just yelling.
Then this guy comes from
And she's quiet. She's not yelling at all to him. She's just like, I don't want to say my business in front of the whole bus.
Yeah, she was saying it in that methy type of
She
inflection.
wasn't methy at all.
You grew up in a different area. You don't think these people are methy.
I've been around methy people.
Yeah, I know, but anyway.
This person wasn't very methy.
So basically whatever she's yelling. Then this guy comes from the top floor of the bus, and he starts, being like, bro.
And no, but the way he sat up on that bus, pissed me off. He sat up, he was ready like that. Let's go then. You know what I mean? Did you see him when he jumped on the...
Well, yeah, but it's early.
No, but that pissed me off. He was like, what? I'm a, I don't know. When he
I don't know.
When
anyway,
he jumped up and sat there...
We're not telling the story. You're not going linearly.
That's what he did first. He came down and sat up.
No, he didn't set up first.
Well, he said, what's going on?
He said, what's going on? He goes, not paying. He's saying, bro, it's 2:40. No one here is bothered. Just go.
And then he sat up.
Then the bus is like, no. And he says, then they start arguing through it. And he says, all right. And then, he sits up on the bus in a very,
I'm about to beat you.
He's like, hey,
war.
Yo, let's go. He starts insulting the bus driver, saying, what is your dreadlocks are too tight. Now, I think this is important to say. The guy from the top floor they were both of African descent. So it's okay for him to say your dreads are too tight.
How do you know that they were of African descent, Ramsey?
Because they were both had dark skin.
No.
Yes.
The guy that
Absolutely.
sat up there did not have dark skin.
The guy was not white.
He wasn't white, but he did have dark
No,
skin.
no, he looked like light skin or mixed race. I would probably bet mixed race. Because he also had like
Why add
dready
this
hair.
bit?
Because if I was yelling at a bus driver and I said, your dreadlocks are too tight, potentially that's racially charged.
Okay,
Right?
anyway, he...
I think this is important to just say, because I don't want, because you know what I mean?
But that wasn't the thing he kept repeating. The thing he kept repeating was, your hairline's receding, your woman's left ya.
Yes.
I loved it. He kept repeating
He
that
kept
stuff.
yelling that.
It was so funny.
And at this point, it's literally been like 5-6 minutes.
And the
he
bus
starts
driver's
playing-
just yelling over everything. And the woman, and when the guy was like, your woman's left ya, the bus driver went mad.
He got pretty
He
pissed.
nearly jumped out of his little window. He was like
Yeah, he
he
got pretty
was
pissed.
so mad at that.
And
He
then
had nerve.
then the bus driver put the alarm on.
No, the alarm was going on before the guy came up from upstairs.
No, I don't think so.
No, Rams, it did.
Why you? I don't think so.
Bro, I remember this because I was like, is he serious right now?
Yeah, he started
For
putting the alarm
Because it was
on.
just a woman by herself.
Mhm.
Like, the man wasn't down here at this point.
Yeah. So
Like,
he,
I understand from the man because the man upstairs was kind of yelling.
so he puts the like
The
alarm
was
on to be like, get a fucking police here, I guess. I don't know. And at this point, I said to Emily, let's get an Uber because we got to catch this bus, this coach to the airport. So we get out, and then we kind of start like a lot of the people from the bus, I think saw us get out, and then also made the decision to be like, all right, let's get
Fuck
out of
this
here.
bus.
Yeah, exactly. So
But also, like, he was so, like, moral about this woman didn't pay, so I'm not going to give her a ride. But all these other people on the bus paid already. And you've just wasted their bus ticket. You know what I mean?
it was really annoying is that as we got off and more people got off, then the guy who was like yelling and the lady both gave up. And then there was a little, after I had called for the Uber, there was like a little huddle of us on the street from the bus.
Yeah.
And then the bus left.
Yeah!
We would have
The lady went off, and the bus left. He didn't say, all right,
Yeah.
everyone who left come back on.
Yeah. Because I'd like to say something here.
God.
It's kind of the woman's fault.
Well, yeah, she started this, but the bus driver was the one who escalated it.
Exactly. But Anyway.
But it's both their faults. It's her fault, but then the bus driver escalated something that really didn't have to be that dramatic. He never kicked her off the bus.
it's got to suck to be a battered woman and then have to take a bus. Right? So that's insult to injury. If the guy who was beating me had a car, I might stick around. You know what I mean? And continue to get
That's my
beat.
mum's excuse.
Well, like literally, because taking the bus does suck. Right?
Doesn't suck that much.
You don't know.
It's like,
Talk loud. Okay. So, we then get to the coach. I also looked at the ticket. It said get there like 10 minutes earlier than when it arrives. I thought maybe we might miss it because we were only there like 4 minutes earlier. But there are a whole bunch of people also waiting at the bus stop. So we're like, that's good. There's some people there. We've waited at the bus stop. We're like, all I wanted to do is to get in the fucking bus to the airport, and then I know we're going to be fine. Like, I know we'll make the flight. That's number one. It's like the bus meant to come at 3:35. We wait there till like 4:10, and there's nothing. There's like a bus tracker as well, and it's saying that all of the buses
departed.
have departed from this
That
stop.
annoys me. Every single bus in London says that they depart, and when they're actually delayed or not, just haven't showed up. Remember, I was there outside an hour of the bus, like 41, in C11. It said it showed up, and it never did for like an hour.
Yeah, man.
It makes me so annoyed. Just don't lie to me. Just say that you're delayed or
Yeah.
cancelled. Sorry.
Has anyone ever killed themselves because of missing a bus?
I would rather kill myself because it hasn't come and it says it has.
No, but exactly. Like you think
That's what I
someone's
would.
sitting there.
Contemplate it.
No, not even contemplate. Like someone's been like, they've got a gun with them, right? Or maybe like a sharp knife, right? Because sometimes you're tired and you're like, I need to get this bus. If you find me at the right time and I have a gun in my backpack, right, and I miss and a bus doesn't show up for half an hour, I might just go, all right, cool, that's fine.
Is this like your thing?
What?
I want to kill myself. Is
You
that
never
like your
fantasize
catchphrase?
about killing yourself at the most mildest inconvenience? Because then it doesn't inconvenience you anymore.
You really think I would stub my toe and be like, this is what's going to send me over the edge in my life?
It's not like that, but sometimes
in my life.
yeah.
That's what's going to send me over the edge?
Yeah, why not?
No.
Sometimes you got annoying stuff lined up. Sometimes you know the next 14 hours are going to suck. And you're like, well, what if I wasn't around for those 14 hours?
I think that's just your thing now. You're the kill yourself guy.
Well, let's not say that.
It's not your shtick.
It's not my shtick. My shtick is witty, satirical humor.
Who wants to kill themselves?
So, the next bus just doesn't show up, which is whatever, sucks. A lady is like calling the bus company. It's like, okay, cool. She calls and tells us all, hey, the bus isn't coming. There's a road closure. They wanted us to get to Liverpool Street, but it's also 3 a.m. There's not many other like normal buses running anywhere. So we're like, all right, cool. We get like 6 of us. I get a Uber XL.
Also, there's a road closure, and we didn't just miss one bus. Every bus that was supposed to come to that point didn't show up, and there was like a bus every 20 minutes or so. I want to say, or 15.
I think it was like 20.
And none of the company would just there's like 20 people there. None of them decided to go, hey, maybe we should let those people going to the airport know about again, this is why it's so important to know that coach goes to the airport directly and there's no other stops.
I don't know why it's so important.
Because those people are going to the airport. If they don't catch this bus, they're going to go and miss their flight. Like, tell them. You know what I mean?
I guess so.
If there was anyone to tell about, like, a bus is not coming, people going in an airport and maybe people going in a hospital, I would say.
Who you's getting the bus to the hospital?
Yeah.
What?
There's the Pancreas Hospital.
St. Pancreas?
There's one there.
Imagine having your pancreas removed in St. Pancreas.
That's hilarious.
No, I understand
I see
that.
where the witty
but I'm saying,
satirical
I don't
comedy
think
comes
it's
from.
you're saying like it's an emergency, you have to get to the hospital.
Well, in America, you would just rather catch a bus than pay.
Are we in America?
4,000. I don't know how it works here, where they have to pay for ambulances.
No, man, it's all covered by the NHS, I think.
Oh,
The
because in
point
Australia,
is,
there's a bit of a
if
fee.
the guy next to me on the tube is like rushing to the hospital, I'm annoyed at that person's etiquette.
All right.
If
Anyway,
the guy next to me is bleeding out and he's like, damn, man, can I sit? You know what I mean?
these people are going to the airport.
I understand
If they
that.
don't make it, they miss their flight.
That's
Why
correct.
not tell them?
Because
and
it
then-
doesn't matter.
And then he told the lady, "Oh, there was supposed to be an email that was sent.
Hey, look,
Sorry."
yeah, no, but
Do
like that guy isn't in charge of the email. Who gives?
No,
you know?
he said sorry. It was like his fault.
He said no. He didn't say sorry. It's his fault.
Yes.
You think she called up?
I overheard him on the phone.
You think she called up the guy whose job it was to send out the emails? He says sorry because he's acting
Well,
on behalf of the company. That's what they're trained to do.
Well, then fucking do.
You think everyone who says sorry? You think when you go to fucking McDonald's and like your burger's shitty and you complain, they're like, "Oh, sorry, that guy didn't make the burger. He just fucking works, so he has to say sorry whenever anyone
No, he's part
complains."
of the communications thing. That's why he's answering the phone.
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't mean he does the emails. He probably just works at a call center. The email's all automated.
Well, get on top of
You
it.
think
because
there's
I
one
was
guy?
annoyed.
There's one guy
National
running
Rail.
all of National Express, just being like, "Oh shit, I forgot to send those emails."
It sounded
It's
like that
him
on the phone.
working by himself.
He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry about
well, no, it's like imagine you're working
We
at a
must have-
Imagine you're working at a call.
Alright,
You just
move
say
on.
sorry. I don't know. You have like sometimes your brain has the way it can't seem to comprehend reality in a meaningful way. Sometimes it's surprising.
What?
You know what I mean? Like your perception of reality is insane.
What are you even talking about right now?
Sometimes you just make
I think
up
you just
whole
try to say big
scenarios.
words and then in an insult,
No, not at all.
and it doesn't make even sense. That doesn't even make sense.
It does.
Your perception of reality is
Yeah, the way you perceive reality sometimes is frankly quite wrong.
All right, move on.
Now, this is a wonderful podcast to listen to in the court of our divorce proceedings, right? Because this is evidence.
What?
Well, whoever's trying to take whoever's other money, you're going to be like, hey, look, obviously the marriage was never...
First of all, both of us have no money.
No, I'm saying you could be successful,
Okay.
and I'm going to try to take all of that.
Well, this podcast proves that you weren't nice to me.
Well, it also... But I might be using it to prove that you are kind of
And
annoying.
you're also gay for Grimace, so there's
I'm
that.
not gay for Grimace. We don't know if he is a man, because he's not... he seems alien or some type of... You know what I mean?
Can we go back to buses?
Concoction created in a lab. So it's not gay to fuck something that isn't even a person. I don't think it's gay to fuck male animals, because that kind of steps outside of the spectrum of like what homosexuality is. Now, if you only want to blow animals, that's gay. But if you fuck a male like Labrador, you're telling me that guy is I'm gay? Get out of here. You got no idea. That's what I'd say. So anyway, we get a Uber and we pile us, a bunch of us, into the Uber. I end up calling the Uber because that's good. And then I felt kind of bad because we had, so there was a German woman who called the original, who called the bus company. The German lady, there was, I want to say maybe an English guy or maybe some other European guy spoke pretty good English. Who was sitting in the front? An English girl, right?
She was from Ireland.
Well, you know, same difference. That's what I got to say.
Crazy because he's from Ireland.
I'm anti-IRA,
Alright, stop.
okay?
Let's not get into
I
that.
support
Irish people will beat
the
us up.
Irish reunification
Stop.
into
Stop.
Great Britain,
I
okay?
don't support this. I'm divorcing him. It's fine.
That's not a controversial statement. Well, I mean, it is, but it's an acceptable one to have.
I'm all right.
I think everyone in Ireland should die. Happy St. Patrick's
You're from
Day.
Irish.
Well,
Ireland.
I'm from Irish. Now,
I'm supposed to say you're Irish,
okay.
and then you're from Ireland.
Well, I'm like a third.
that's a humongous part.
Yeah, but like no one in my direct family is there.
I'm sorry, isn't your mum O'Brien?
Yeah, but all of her family's in Australia. We've assimilated, unlike some people. I'm saying my
Most
family...
of my family's in Australia.
But I'm saying
you
my
haven't proved anything.
My family goes it goes very far back as being in Australia.
No one cares.
Well, you brought it up.
No one didn't.
You said I was from Ireland. I'm not. I'm Australian.
You brought up Ireland. Anyway, the woman in the front was Ireland. There was an...
And I hope she dies, because no. And then there was like a Spanish lady who spoke almost no
Spanish.
English, and so she's just waiting for a bus that never shows up, and then I'm just there being like, "Do you want to get an Uber?"
No, I was the one who spoke to her in Spanish.
I'm trying to do a bit.
Because I'm fluent.
I'm trying to do a bit.
Well, it's not truthful.
Like, it doesn't have to be. What is your problem?
God, I could just not be here.
Okay, bye. No one's keeping you. That's what I thought. That's what this whole marriage is, just a game of chicken. You can go. Find out. You want to know? Find out.
What the fuck are you talking
Go
about?
if you want to.
How is a marriage chicken?
'Cause it's us being like, yeah, you can leave if you want.
You asked to marry me not once and get rejected.
Yep.
Twice.
Yep. And I'll ask you a third time.
So if anyone's playing chicken, isn't it you?
The point is, we ended up getting to the airport.
He really pretends like he doesn't like me sometimes when he's the biggest softie that you'll ever meet.
Oh, by the way, the airport at Stansted Airport seems pretty chill. It wasn't very intense, was
smells like shite.
it? It
though.
smells bad.
It smells so... It just smells like baby poo.
Yeah.
everywhere.
What I'm trying to say is if you put your mind to it, you could get a bomb through there. Not, This podcast
No,
is satire, by the way.
please.
This podcast is
We're
satire.
never gonna be able to go to Stansted Airport if you keep talking like this.
No one's going to listen to
We're
this.
gonna be on the no-fly list.
I would never bring a bomb into an
I
airport.
know he's got a beard.
I
like a-
would hate. That would be if me, I'd probably take a bomb out of the airport, but
you'd
I'd never
hide-
bring one
You'd
in.
hide one in there.
I would never bring
one
one
in
in,
there.
but I'd take one out. If I saw one, I wouldn't tell anyone because I'm not a snitch. I don't want to see more of our Muslim brothers and sisters locked up. Not that it's necessarily a Muslim who left the bomb there. Could be a member of the IRA.
Anyway.
But I would take. I would if I found a bomb at
So
an
the
airport.
people in the taxi, Uber, were Irish, Spanish.
The point is, there was a
German.
Spanish lady who didn't speak any English, and it must have been a very weird experience for her, kind of vaguely understanding that the bus isn't coming, but also just getting into an Uber with a group of people. Like, she's going to get kidnapped in Spain. Immediately,
There's so much racism in this.
Why is that racist?
Why would she get kidnapped in Spain?
You
Ramsey?
can't be racist against...
compared to London, because
Spain.
London is the safest space on.
You can't be racist against the Spanish. They're white.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't. They're white. Well, no, I'm saying
Anyway,
she's willing to get...
we made it to the airport and we went to Denmark. And it was
I'm
a
saying
beautiful
she's willing to
experience.
get into the fucking... Into a...
Isn't your
car
podcast
full
30
of
minutes?
We're
does
doing
that mean
hours now.
it's
I did an hour solo, and that was just edging.
This is just you solo, and I'm there.
Catch a solo. But what else? Denmark, kind of, it's fine. It's fine.
I met my brother.
Half brother,
I met my half brother
crazy man.
for the first time.
Yep, and the last,
Sorry?
never going back.
No, don't. I don't think he'll listen to this, or he'll stop and not make it to this point. But if he does listen to it, I will go back. 'Cause it was lovely.
It was kind of nice.
Did you expect him to be like that?
What?
Well, you've met my family.
Yeah.
Now, meeting him, what did you go thinking? Like, what was your thoughts?
I had no idea what to think, and it was good. I don't think I've met Danish people before, but I don't really know what
Danish people. Now, Danish airport is the one you can sneak a bomb into.
No,
They
no way.
did not care.
Yeah, they did.
They were so smiley and so friendly. You
can be smiley and still look for bombs.
Ryanair there was so chill. They do not care if you went over the limit, under the limit. They do not.
Oh, if you tried to tell the if you were spoke to a flight attendant at Ryanair, and you're like, hey, there's a bomb under my seat. Someone put a bomb. They'd be like, that is extra. Like, that does exceed the carry-on limit.
Way, yeah.
They're going to charge you extra, which is good. But no, it was fine. And then Denmark was fine. But
No,
I had a
if
very
you had a
good-
bomb on the airplane in Ryanair and you discovered it mid-flight, they're like, oh, you want the air marshal to get on this? Well, everyone's going to have to, pay up if you want safety. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? Because they charge for everything.
Yeah,
so
it's
they-
good when you over-explain it.
Yeah, you always have this weird, confused look on your
Hey,
face.
hey.
So I don't know if
Hey,
you're
hey,
getting
hey,
it.
hey.
Or
Just leave the comedy to me. Okay? Now, I'm talking what other characters in McDonald's were there? We've only got 2 of them. That's all we know. Anyway, so I think Denmark is nice, but it's too nice. It's good for having just a good time. You know what I mean? Everyone's happy there, and that kind of make it seem boring. I don't want to be surrounded by happy people. I don't think. But no, it's really nice. There's a lot of bikes. It's a nice little socialist type of place. I assume it was probably under Nazi control, and it's the type of place with the guys that the Nazis would have really loved. Because I feel like when you look at a lot of the more southern Germanic people, they're not really A-grade Aryan, from the Nazis' perspective, is what I'm trying to say. Oh, man. But yeah, so I think, you learn a lot when you travel. And I think what I learned is that it's okay to. I got nothing,
You got
guys.
nothing. What
I'm
did we
sorry
see? We
about
saw
that.
Sabrina Carpenter.
We saw a concert, Sabrina Carpenter, and you know what? I think she's selling sex to children, and that's not on.
There was
There were so many kids there.
not really.
There were so many kids there.
Babes, they were 18.
Oh,
Do you know what
no, trust
18-year-olds
me,
look like now?
they weren't 18.
18-year-olds look real young now.
No, but it's not.
They
No,
look
they were
really
like
young.
no, they were children.
Well, they were, but that's what kind of
They
Denmark.
were like
Oh, the
10 year-
topless lady.
Yeah, there was some ladies swimming topless.
That was crazy for me.
It wasn't that crazy. It was just a lady swimming topless.
What about the first time we came to London? Remember that first week?
Oh, we saw some ladies having sex. Oh no,
Not ladies.
A man and a lady. Or who knows?
We went to go catch the bus to go to our Airbnb from the airport, or from the train station or whatever. And then we just waiting for the bus, and we look ahead of us, and this is our first maybe half an hour outside in London. And there's just people having sex in the window.
There was the
you see
clear, what silhouette of some people hooking up. It was Valentine's
No, because
Day.
the bottom half was you can see the silhouettes and shapes, and then
Yeah.
the top half you could see it.
I couldn't see it.
No, you could
It
see
was all
it.
silhouettes to me. I wasn't looking so hard. But yeah, so we saw some people have sex,
And
which
then
is
we
once again, who cares, you know?
But it's just like they didn't close the blinds, they didn't turn the lights off. It was
Sometimes you
just
forget to close the or maybe they're into that.
maybe. There's
But-
just a lot to see when you're first in London.
Well, I don't
People
know.
having sex in a window. And then we went to the museum. And what did we see in the museum?
A lot of stuff that's not from Britain.
And then
A lot
outside of the
Egyptian
museum,
stuff.
we saw
Also
something
a
that
lot
was
of stuff that's not
from London.
Britain. Well,
a lady smoking crack.
there was a lady smoking crack.
Actual crack. That's crazy.
It's not crazy. It's
On
fine.
the street, in a touristy area, in this fancy London,
Of course, but of course you're going to smoke
in
crack
broad
in a
daylight.
You're going to smoke crack in a touristy area.
Broad
because
daylight.
tourists won't bother you while you're smoking crack.
There is a line of people with kids, and there's just a lady smoking crack.
Yeah,
Just
but-
do your crack around the corner.
No, but that's what I'm saying. A bunch of tourists aren't going to go up to a lady smoking crack and being like, "Oh, excuse me, could you move, please? I'm from Belgium. I don't like you smoke
I
the
like
crack,
that you
right?"
had to put a touristy accent on when you have
'Cause
a
that's a
touristy
tourist,
accent. You are a tourist.
But I'm saying, like, if you smoke crack in someone's neighborhood, you're gonna have problems. They're gonna call the police. If you're a tourist, you see someone smoking crack, you look at it, you appreciate it, and then you move on with your life.
I don't know. It was a fancy part of London.
Plus, I feel like
It's
watching
a-
people smoke crack is good for children
Uh,
because they always look gross.
they
So
do
you're
look
like, hey,
gross.
look, there's that gross person. You don't want to be gross. Don't smoke crack, you know?
Also, the museum hadn't I was so interested in learning about English history. Not a single thing I learnt in that museum was English.
It was mainly Egypt we saw.
Which kind of makes sense because they took over
They
bunch of
took all the stuff,
other people's countries. But
which, to be
there's
fair,
history here.
but like, what else are you going to do, you know?
You got the royals. Talk about the royals for a little bit.
Yeah, that shit sucks.
They could have shown something besides, just a little bit of English history.
Have
Not
I
a single thing was English.
I feel like the royals are all going to be old now. Who's next in line?
William.
He's youngish. But he's be like 50, 60 now.
He's 45.
No.
Yeah.
He's been 45 forever. When was he born?
He was, I don't know when he was born, but he was in his 20s.
He's the bald one, yeah?
He was in his 20s and he was in the 90s.
Gotcha. And Harry's the ginger one.
Yes.
But he's not a royal anymore.
Well, he is.
No, he's not.
He still is.
But he said, I'm out of the royal
But
thing.
you still call him Prince.
No, you don't. He's not part of the royal thing
He's-
anymore.
He doesn't have a...
He's renounced his royalty,
No, he announced his title.
which is
But he's
prince.
still royal.
But his title is
He's
prince.
still royal blood.
His title is prince.
So maybe, I don't know what I know that Meghan's Duchess.
You know what I
She's
call him?
Duchess.
I call him Meghan Markle's husband because I'm not sexist. I say, oh, you mean Meghan Markle's husband? Because she's the boss.
To be fair,
Neither of
You
them are
did-
anything. They're not in the
Well,
royal
you've
system
said
now.
the ginger one and Meghan Markle, so you know one's name.
Yeah.
She's a good actor, though.
Well,
Fun little
she's
fact.
hot. That helps when you're an actor. It's really all you need if you're a lady. If you're a female actor,
So
you
I'm
just
gonna
need
make
to be
it
hot.
far.
It's crazy how you can't be an unattractive female actor.
Yes, you can.
There's none. Name me one. Or like there's 4 of them. There's 4 spots.
Because they don't hire.
That's what I'm saying. There's 4, like as far as female actors, there's 4 spots for people that are actually talented.
But then, like, also name me unattractive people
Oh,
that are not men.
let me tell you, I think if I could get a list of everyone who listens to this pod, mate, I'm going to guess.
Hey,
Not a
leave
lot of
Jane
lookers,
out of this,
okay?
Ramsey.
There's so many unattractive people.
Who that listens to this podcast? You got 4
I'll
people.
take you down the street and I'll show you some unattractive people. Okay? They're everywhere. Okay?
There's not that many unattractive people, though.
You're insane.
Because everyone's attractive in their own little way.
No, everyone's ugly. Literally. There's like the percentage of people that are
I'm
attractive
beautiful.
is incredibly low.
No, it's not.
Absolutely.
No, it's not.
What?
Everyone has their own little thing.
Everyone has their own little thing. That doesn't mean they're attractive, you know?
Yeah.
What are you
If
talking
you dress a certain way, if you look a certain way.
about? Nah, man. Most people are ugly. 100%.
You go from like a 4 to like a 8 when you get a good haircut.
No, you don't.
Imagine if you get... No,
Me?
you specifically.
Yeah, but there's people who are walking around, good haircut, dressing well, fucking
then they're not dressed
accentuating
or
their
haircut
features,
for the
and
way
guess
they
what?
are.
Still ugly.
Name me some people.
I don't need... There's plenty of them.
Name me one
I don't want to
person.
name unattractive... What if they listen?
They don't.
Huh?
They don't. And you probably wouldn't want them anyway. Ramsey has said he'd divorce me if I got fat.
Let's talk
Like
about... Okay.
100 kilos
Are we
fat.
talking about actresses?
Name me one unattractive person.
Professor Sprout from Harry Potter.
I can't remember. Not. Have you seen her when she's not in character?
No.
When she was on the carpet,
On the carpet?
on the red carpet.
Was she a lesbian? Come on. Pretty good. Carpet muncher.
No, when she was on
Cha-ching.
the red carpet.
How? Oh, was you...
She dressed up.
Okay,
She
she's
put
still
her hair
ugly.
up. No, she wasn't.
Oh,
She
she
got
might...
fucking big glasses that cover half her face.
Who's the really talented character actress?
What?
Margaret Martindale or some
I don't
shit.
know who the fuck you're talking
There's
about.
plenty of ugly people.
Name me one ugly person
Huh?
that we
Mate,
know.
Get out your family tree. I'll fucking show you more than one.
I don't know. My family, they're beautiful.
No. There's plenty of ugly people.
You can't even think of one.
I could see one from the window. Come on. Surely. Someone's walking by.
This is not.
There
very
we go.
interesting.
It's one of those boys.
You can't even see that far. You're telling me you can see their face from that
No,
far?
but I know that they're not attractive. There's so many people. Prince, the bald one, he's ugly.
Have you? It's just because he has no hair.
Yeah, 'cause he's ugly. He's only ugly 'cause he's ugly. What are you talking about?
No. Did you see him in the 90s? Everyone was frothing
Yeah,
over
and
him.
now he's unattractive.
No, because of his hair.
And that's
All
what he
he
looks
has-
like now. He
all-
doesn't look like he has hair. He doesn't have hair.
All he has to do is fucking get a nice little haircut.
He doesn't have hair. He
Or
can't get
grow
a
out
haircut.
his beard.
Well, he hasn't, so he's unattractive.
You're talking about unattractive.
I'm not attractive.
No, you are attractive, but you choose to
Oh
look
my
like
God.
choose to look like Adam Sandler.
I don't.
Adam Sandler can be attractive,
Okay,
but he chooses to be.
Hitler.
If Hitler chose to be attractive, I believe he could be attractive.
All of the
Hitler's
Nazi,
not ugly.
like Goering, Goebbels.
Bro, do I look like I fucking research Nazis
Oh
every
my
day
God,
like
what
you
you
do?
asked me to pick all of the fucking presidents from the 1800s. All of the U.S. presidents, ugly, except for maybe Washington was kind of look good. But
I
Benjamin Franklin was this fat little.
You
know,
think I can imagine all what the presidents look like? I'm not autistic. I have a life, Ramsey.
Joe Biden? No, he was kind of hot.
He was so... Are you kidding me? When he was younger, I would leave you for him.
Oh, Jill Stein?
I don't know who that is.
Oh my God!
Bro,
Because
even Trump in his prime looked...
you're fucking okay.
Have you
Trump,
seen Trump when he was young?
He still had the hair and stuff.
No, he was still ugly twat, but that's because we know him as an ugly twat now.
No, not at all.
But like inside,
I
but-
don't think so.
him on the outside.
Do you think he molested his daughter?
Yeah. No, but yeah. You know what I mean? He's definitely like.
You've heard it here first, folks.
touched
No,
her.
but yeah.
He's definitely like touched her, but she probably thought, "Oh, my dad's just hugging
It's
me."
crazy you can't molest your own child.
Yes, you can.
It's yours. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
what?
you mean like not?
Yeah, like
permission to-
legally, you know? I made it, you know? You're going to tell me how far I can drive my own car? Get
I'm
the
not
fuck
on this
out
boat.
of here,
Oh.
okay?
When I get famous, can like even just a little bit, can we actually delete this podcast?
No, not at all, because I'm going to get famous first. No, you're going to divorce me once it comes out.
Why would I?
Because you're going to be famous.
But why would I divorce you?
Because it's going to be much better for your PR.
I'm not going to do everything for PR though.
Because I'm
Not
not going to
divorce.
change. I'm not going to change.
I'm not going to divorce you for PR.
Yeah, you will.
No, I won't.
Well, you should. Because I'm still going to be... This podcast will still be going. That's my promise to you, folks.
Are you still going to love me?
Well, you know, we'll see.
Stop being funny. Are you still going to love me?
We're going to see, okay?
I bet you Ramsey, once his like woman gets more successful than he is, he's going to be like, "Fuck you, you bitch."
What?
And you're going to be upset, and you're going to be all insecure, and you're going to be very upset.
I'm
Have
gonna
you
be
heard about
like-
those celebrities?
Have you ever...
The men just go insane as soon as their women get more successful than him. Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston. Man.
Jennifer Aniston was never more successful than Brad Pitt.
Well, there was a moment there where she was like she was going all into these movies and a successful show and the
Oh, here's something that might
Pretty.
actually be a bit,
and
right?
he freaked out a bit.
I saw this thing, right? So it was talking about how Brad Pitt... I don't know. It was talking about how Brad Pitt is, like, bad. And how, like, he...
well, yeah,
is saying how he held his family hostage.
he choked his child
He was
on
a
an airplane.
Yeah, he held his family
Or something like
hostage
that.
on a private jet, right? Here's the thing. If you've ever been on a family vacation, it's basically being held hostage. Like, there's parts of it where you are a hostage, right? At least it's on a private jet, you know?
No, he like choked his child on
It's
that
better
plane.
than being held
Not
hostage
just held
in a fucking...
hostage.
In a goddamn Ford, you know, you know what I mean? It's better. I'd rather be held hostage on a private jet than a Nissan Navara. Okay, call me crazy.
No, because the car you can just stop and
How about
leave.
this? If you're not gonna, but you as a 7-year-old, you can't get out in the middle of the fucking Pacific Highway and just walk towards a fucking goat. Come on, let's not be crazy. And first of all, if you don't choke your kid a little bit, you're a bad dad. Okay? I'm going to put that out there.
Gavin has choked you.
No, and that he's a
That's
bad
his
dad
bad
because of it. Okay?
Gavin, choke your kids. That's the message we're getting from Ramsey.
I feel like, because also, there's a lot of people out there who'd love to be choked by Brad Pitt. There's a whole lot of people who...
Not in that way, though.
What do you mean not in that way?
That was not a
The
fun
point
way.
is, one man's trash is another man's treasure. And how about we all be a little bit more appreciative of what we have? Which is getting choked
7,
by your dad
8,
who's a movie
9,
star.
10,
Okay?
11.
There's still 2 minutes, okay? And we could go longer. So here's the thing, right?
There's a minute 30 left. Let it end.
So, okay. Because you came from an abusive household, right? But you've never been on a private
Wait,
jet.
No.
You've never been on a private
Sorry, I'm
jet.
counting down. the
Right?
minute.
Isn't that correct?
Mm-hmm.
You can leave if you want. I'll finish it by myself. But just try
That's
not to
what
talk
normally
over
happens for me.
me while I'm doing the numbers. It's very good. It's very funny.
Was that funny?
It was. You did. You were 58 minutes in, you did a joke.
If we had a, I don't know what I'm gonna say.
Do you think there was a guy who, like, had beef with Hitler before he was, like, doing bad stuff?
This is such a crazy podcast because, like, I've watched podcasts, right?
Yeah.
And, like, they normally bring a guest on and they have a list of topics to talk about. Yours, like, 4 out of 5 topics have been about Hitler.
Where
We've got
we
Grimace.
listen to very different podcasts.
I had to bring Denmark up. No, I listen to comedy podcasts.
Was there like some? No, but
They're not all about Hitler.
I'm not saying comedy. I'm saying we listen to different podcasts,
No, we also listen to the same one.
and some of them are different. And a lot of the ones I like, they're scriptless. There's no guide. There's nothing.
No, but there's like points.
No, not the ones that I listen to.
So what do you do with every guest? Like Shiro comes on.
Here's
do
the
you
fucking problem.
So I'm actually interested.
This
now.
is more of a women
because I'm not
problem.
gonna
Because
listen.
women, they want structure, they want topics. Men just go out there and be funny, And
So like
and,
Shiro
and
comes
failure
on.
of that, we'll
Shiro,
do whatever this has
Shiro
been.
comes on.
Yes,
Mickey comes on.
yes.
Tavis comes
Can
on.
I ask a question?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to.
Alan.
I wanted to know if I could ask a question. I didn't want to ask a question. But anyway, continue. You're listing a bunch of names.
People come on.
Yes.
Your podcast.
Yep.
They sit in this seat.
Yeah.
Do you have anything in mind to speak with them?
Nope.
So you just talk.
We just let it flow. It's like a hang.
And how many times does it get to Hitler?
We're probably at about 100%, 110% hit rate at the moment.
Why?
Because he is interesting.
Because I'm not going to listen to the podcast because I
It's
can't.
not-
I would rather kill myself. But like, how do you get to Hitler every time?
It's not so much like, obviously Hitler's a very interesting person, but also it's interesting how he sits in the minds of other people is more of the thing. Because he's like the incarnate of evil. Because there's more evil guys you can bring up, but they don't have that same reaction as Hitler does.
So why bring? Isn't it redundant just bringing it up every single time?
No, because it's about hearing.
There's not much to talk about him.
What I'm trying to say is, you reckon Hitler had like a neighbor, or like maybe he's like bunkmate from. Maybe Hitler's like bunkmate from fucking what's it called, art school or whatever, right? Who like had like a personal beef with Hitler.
I'm just thinking about we were supposed to go on a date.
And like this guy has accidentally been on the right side of history.
This is a little looky-loo in our lives together. In our life together. This is people looky-loo in.
Hey, look, man.
Does that make sense?
Now, we got to finish it with a character,
And,
okay?
And they were supposed to come in and
Bon.
be like, oh, it's Emily and Ramsey.
No, not at all.
And
Who would give a fuck about us?
I can name 3 people.
But like, who's gonna be? Oh, Emily, we're a celebrity power couple. No, we're not.
What?
The
No.
people that listen to
I'm
this.
saying your comedy friends.
Yeah, that's not who this
They
is for.
look at you and they know you.
This isn't who that's for.
Who the fuck is listening
This
to
is
this if
for
they're not
my
your friends?
fans. My fans. If you have a fan, go to my wife's Instagram and harass her daily.
Please, it'll be really
Send
good
her-
for the algorithm,
Send
actually.
her death threats
No.
via mail.
No.
You can send them.
No.
I was gonna like try to think of someone's address.
The sausage boy one.
Send. Hey, look. See you guys. Wait, no. Do you have last thoughts?
I'm gonna have a Patreon.
Okay, bye.